Hello Mopar fanatics, this is Mopar Bob coming to you from Minneapolis, Minnesota, and with all the COVID-19 craziness going around in the world, I wanted to offer you some encouragement with a look at my 1969 Dodge Charger RTSE, and maybe this will keep you motivated to think about happier times being just around the corner. So in any case, here it is. This is my, as I said, my 1969 Dodge Charger RTSE. I bought the car in 1991 at a barnyard in Maine. Drove it all the way back to Minneapolis and did a complete rotisserie resto on it over the next 3 years. So in any case, I'll just do a walk around to the car here. Here's the front end. I love the grille on this car. It just looks fantastic, I think. I've always liked this. Just absolutely gorgeous front grille. Best one I've ever seen. I love the lines of the car. As you can see, the wheel housings bulge out around the wheels, so the sheet metal moves in all three axes, the X, Y, up and down, left and right, and forward and aft, which is an amazing design, really, when you think about it. I don't know who came up with this design, but I could live 10 lifetimes and never come up with the styling ideas that this guy did when he built this car. In any case, here we are walking around to the back. There are several things. I've tried to keep it as stock as possible, but there are several things I've done to change it away from stock. The first one is these American torque thrust wheels. Got those way back in the day. I had the original stock wheels and wheel covers on them, but they were just horrible. The car handled so badly I couldn't help it. But those are Goodyear NASCAR Eagle #1 tires on it. You can't get those anymore. Coming around to the back here, as you can see, I think the car is just gorgeous from the back. Coming across the tail lights, the exhaust is completely stock. It's a dual exhaust with stock mufflers, head pipes, intermediate pipes, tail pipes, mufflers in it. Come around on this side, I just think this is a beautiful aspect of the car right here. It just shows its lines beautifully, and I love the color combination of the car. I get a lot of positive comments on it. The car was originally built in October of 1983 in Hamtramck, Detroit, Michigan, at the Dodge Hamtramck plant. In any case, they built the car in F3 light metallic green with the dark green interior and a dark green vinyl roof. And when I had the car all apart, I just couldn't put it back together in that color scheme again, so that had to go. This is Q4 light turquoise metallic, which was an available special order color for a Dodge Charger that year. So I love the high contrast between the body, the darker body, and the lighter roofline with a very dramatic roof on it with the flying buttress C-pillars back here, which I just think are just gorgeous. Looking on the inside here, you can take a look at the inside of the car a little bit better. I've got it all stock except for just a couple of things. First of all, that's the original AM8 track that came delivered that way. This is a factory power window car, as you can see. I've completely restored the dash. Everything's new in there. The one thing I have changed is the shifter. As you can see, that it is a console automatic from the factory, but I took out the stock shifter and I installed a Duncan Engineering shifter arm. I think Duncan Engineering is not making them anymore, but it is a push it down and shift it into drive or any of the gears, just like the normal console shifter for the automatic transmission. However, it does have the pistol grip on it, so I love the look of that. The wood grips on this are actually wood. They're actual walnut wood that I had a gunsmith make. He took a piece of stock walnut that he had, matched it to the walnut inside the car here, and then made the pistol grip shifter grips the left and the right side to keep it as close to the look as he possibly could. So looking in the back seat here, we can see the back seat's just very, very stock. All the colors and everything are completely stock in it, including the seat belts, the carpeting. You can see the power window switches on there, which I had to completely disassemble and rebuild to get working again. But anyhow, come around to the forward here. I've tried to keep all the glass as stock as possible. Let's take a peek under the hood here. Alright, this is your basic Chrysler 440 cubic inch V8 engine, iron block and heads. This is not the original engine and transmission that came with the car. It is not a numbers matching car. The original engine and transmission were gone when I bought it. They had a replacement, an incorrect replacement in there. So I have replaced what came in the car with a correct E-Series high performance HP 440 that I picked up in, I bought it in Bismarck, North Dakota actually. So it's the correct engine, even though it's not the numbers matching engine. The transmission was incorrect also, and I had to find the correct A727B tranny in Hays, Kansas, and had it shipped up here to Minneapolis and completely rebuilt it. So everything under the hood here is restored to very, very stock. As you can see, however, I did change the RV2 compressor to a Sandon rotary compressor with the R134A conversion for the refrigerant, because I was tired of leaky V2 compressors or RV2 compressors, depending on which one you have, leaking that $65 a pound R12 refrigerant. It was just absurd that I'm spending so much money on this. This thing weighs about half as much as an RV2 compressor, puts out more cooling power, and takes probably half of the turning force off of the engine crank to run it. That is the original wiper motor with the correct date code on it. When I bought it, the engine compartment was really, really badly messed with, so I tried to get everything back to stock. I do have, for you battery enthusiasts, sorry about this, that's a Napa battery, but I do have a correct red top reproduction battery of the original one that came, and I put that in for car shows. I only really go to one car show a year for this. Mostly it's just to drive, and boy, is this thing a blast to drive. So, coming around to the back, let's take another look. Let's see what's in the trunk here. Trunk was pretty bad when I got the car. We had to do a lot of repairs there. The original spare and wheel and jack and all that stuff was missing, so I had to find a correct wheel, and that is actually a correct original style of Goodyear Redline bias ply tire, non-radial tire. I've got radials on the forward drive wheels right now, but the spare is a bias ply tire for that originality. Had to find the correct jack base, and all the jack equipment was missing. This cover back here over the taillight panel, of course, was missing, so everything had to be restored inside here, including the trunk mat. But basically the car was disassembled all the way down to the unibody shell and remanufactured. So we'll close that up, take another look at the beautiful taillight panels. You'll notice the vintage license plate. And what happened was, when I finally restored my car, I wanted to put vintage plates on it. I called up the state of Minnesota. They said, you cannot have plates like that and register the car in the passenger category. You'd have to change the law to do that. So I said, fine. So I called up my state representative. They had me come down and testify at the House Transportation Subcommittee. I told them what I wanted to do, to use original plates with unrestricted driving privileges, and eventually they passed that, and they did change the law, and eventually we were able to do this in Minnesota. So it's all good now, and I can drive anywhere in the state of the United States from coast to coast with original plates with unrestricted driving privileges. Why does it say 1968? Because back in the 60s, Minnesota stamped license plates on even years. So if you bought a 1960 car, 69 car, you'd have a 68 car with 1969 tabs up there like it has right there. That's why. The exhaust tips are all completely stock, as you can see. So coming back around here, another look at the car from far back a little bit. Coming around, and if we're going to look at this engine, why don't we fire this thing up and see what it sounds like. Coming inside now, everything has been redone. I did almost all of this myself. There's your Chrysler High Torque starter. You recognize that sound, I'm sure. Okay, one of the very, very best things about this car is this. That is a totally bone stock exhaust system. Stock mufflers, tailpipes, everything. Now that we know the engine runs, give a listen to this high-tech sound system. Is that the Bee Gees that's playing on the AM 8-track? Let's get the engine up. That is your very basic stock sound system. That's a NOS 8-track tape that I bought, a dealer 8-track tape. It's playing through 3 speakers in the dash, 1, 2, 3 speakers dash, and then with the fader control back here. Also have a rear air control. There's a speaker in the back next to the rear air defogger outlet fan. Actually sounds pretty darn good. So let's take that out. Take one last look at the car before we say goodbye. So there it is, Mopar fans. To my way of thinking, the finest realization of performance and styling ever in a motor car. And that's just my opinion, but I just love driving this car. I've had it since, like I said, since 1991. It took me 3 years to restore, and now here we are in April of 2020. And she still looks pretty good. So enjoy, keep the faith up. Remember, COVID's not going to last forever. Beautiful summer's just around the corner. And everything's going to be fine. One final shout out to my car club. If you're ever thinking of moving to Minneapolis, we have a wonderful car club called the Midwest Mopars Car Club. We got about 500 or 600 members in it, and a lot of cars just like this. We have a car show once a year over just to the east of St. Paul, Minnesota, and they've got a whole bunch of beautiful cars like this in it, so we'd love to have you if you're interested in coming. All right, let's get the goodbye look at the car here. There it is, people. Thanks for tuning in and looking at this on YouTube. God bless you. Bye-bye.